Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. A man is not what he thinks he is what he hides. We're about to begin an old but excellent scenario entitled The Secret of Castronegro. It was written in 1983 by Mark Pettigrew and Sandy Peterson, and is part of a collection entitled Ghastly Adventures and Erudite Lore. I am your GM, and this is episode 1. Let's introduce our players and the characters they will be playing. Let's start with Ken. You're muted.
Hi there, folks. I'm Ken. I'm playing Sam Steele, a private investigator who has been hired by two groups of people in this adventure. Sam was recently served as a soldier in 1917 and 18 in the Great War, and then came home and had a family. He's got a child, a wife and a child, his young son Billy. And they have recently moved to Albuquerque, and he's set up his private detective agency here after working in San Francisco. So Sam is a boxer, almost professional, and he can pack a punch. He's a big guy with a lot of strength and quite a strong personality. He's a direct kind of character. So that's what I'm playing.
Excellent. Joshua.
Hi, I'm Joshua Morrow. I'll be playing Julius Clayton Lane. Julius, I am the embodiment of the dilettante. Men want me, women want to be me. And I expect the best of the best of the best. And if that's not good enough, get the better version, because I expect it. I'll pay for it with you, without you, or through you. Whatever it takes to get my cousin back is what I'm willing to do. Well, unless it costs too much, then we might have to cut him loose. But besides that, he's been a childhood friend my whole life, more like a brother, a loving confidant. We went and killed furry things together. We went and womanized women together. And damn it, I need him back.
Excellent. Jeff.
I'm playing Professor Gregor, Mark Heston. I'm an archaeologist and a bit of a typical professor, a little, got glasses, not exactly athletic or anything. And I kind of am married to my work. So always traveling about doing archaeological type things.
Okay. Ford.
Hi, I'm Ford. Today I'm playing Dr. Rob Harlow. Dr. Rob, as he's called by his students, Rob by everybody else. He's not your typical professor. He's pretty laid back, kind of open. Some people may call him bohemian, although he still keeps a very good professional air to him. He too was involved in the Great War, but he doesn't talk about it very much. Right now, he is currently professor of forensic science at University of New Mexico, and helping to forge that department and the new and upcoming science of forensics. He also moonlights for the Albuquerque Police Department, doing much the same. And as Rob would like to say, he is in the process of taking the Albuquerque Police Department out of the Old West and into the modern age. He's been called in on this for his skills in investigation and understanding and tracking. Doesn't know too much about the whole situation yet, other than the fact that one of his colleagues has been missing for a while, and this is the first he's other than what's been in the papers over the past month.
Did he break up for everybody else too? Okay, you kind of broke up there at the end. Sorry.
Okay.
Right. Maybe try unplugging and plugging in your your microphone too. And finally, but last but not least, Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred. I'll be playing Professor Gregor Heston. He is a teacher of anthropology at the University of New Mexico. He's a mostly quiet, reserved, plain-spoken individual. First generation Hopi off of the reservations, working his way to help send goods and money back to the reservation to support his families, and also to try to further the cause of collecting information and cataloging data about the Hopi for the future.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I have on my keeper shirt. The players are ready. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. It was a very average day, the 1st of October, 1925, at the University of New Mexico in the city of Albuquerque. The temperature was about 74 degrees, average. It was slightly overcast and a bit hazy, common for this time of year. The astronomy club was going to be observing the harvest moon, which was due to be its fullest tomorrow night, and they were hoping for clear skies. But there was a dark cloud which loomed over the minds of 3 people. The first, which was a rich kid from Boston, Julius Lane, of the Beacon Hill Lanes. His cousin David had gone missing, and his family believed it was a kidnapping, but no ransom had been asked. Julius had hired a private eye by the name of Sam Steele to investigate. Hopefully he could turn up more information than the police had. The other 2 people were professors of the university, Dr. Mark Hisney and Dr. Gregor Heston, whose colleague and friend, Professor William Godfrey, had gone missing. Sitting next to them was another colleague, Dr. Robert Harlow, a medical doctor in the forefront of forensic investigation. It was mid-morning, and the 5 of you are gathered in a small meeting room of Hodgkin Hall, which currently holds most of the books destined to be housed in the new Zimmerman Library, which is still under construction.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. It's great to have us all together. I've called you all together because of some new evidence. As you know, Julius Lane, who is here, can I introduce Julius, in fact, to the 3 professors here. This is Mark Kinsey, Dr. Gregor Heston, and Dr. Robert Harlow, Mr. Lane. So we have a common interest here, and in fact, both of the professors and Mr. Lane here have contracted me to look for missing persons. In the case, Mr. Lane of the professors, they've asked me to look for William Godfrey, and Mr. Lane's cousin, David Lane, is also missing. I brought with me here a newspaper article which may shed a little bit of light on the fact that this matter may not be two individual matters of missing persons. So let me just read this article to you. The heading here is "Weird Disappearances Baffle the Sheriff." Local and state police in southwest New Mexico are mystified by a string of evidently unrelated missing persons cases. On September 28, that's just 3 days ago, Joaquin Vileli Pereira, a native of the small town of Castronegro, was discovered to have left his room at the La Pulga Dorado Hotel in Silver City, leaving all his possessions behind, which tells us something. The authorities suspect foul play but have no suspects or clues. This by itself would not be very unusual were it not for 2 previous disappearances on September the 16th. That's, of course, your friend and associate professors, Dr. William Godfrey, a noted professor of psychology at the University of New Mexico at Albuquerque, was reported missing while traveling from Silver City again to Las Cruces. Is that correct? Las Cruces. On September 18th, A traveller from Boston, Mr. David Lane, who I've also been hired to find, was found missing from his High Street townhouse in downtown Silver City. All three of these disappearances remain unsolved, the article tells us. The police suspect that there may be a connection between them, but none has been discovered so far. Now, this is a timely article for us and for the cases that of all of the parties here gathered. According to this article, the police see no connection whatsoever that they can discover, although they obviously suspect one. Mr. Lane, the professor, and the Castronegro resident. So we really have the two missing cases we're interested in, and we also have a separate missing case now reported from the Castronegro resident. All three within a 2 to 3 day time frame, and one of them within 10 days. So I'm sorry to say that in the cases that you're interested in for Mr. Lane and for William Godfrey, I believe there may be some deeper issues at work here, some foul play. And one question I would maybe address to you just now, I know there hasn't been so far, but am I right in saying there has been no contact in terms of for looking for money or kind of hostage situation? Nobody has heard from anybody?
We've received no ransom, as we suspected there may be. But I'd like to make something clear. I'm paying you to find my cousin. These other locals are secondary to finding him. I want to make that clear.
That's absolutely fine. I'll make sure all parties are dealt with. It seems to me certainly something is going on around Silver City. Something bigger than maybe one individual. Although, as I say, I'm very happy to satisfy everybody's needs in discovery. I'm hoping, of course, that we find everybody safe and sound. I certainly provide great experience, and I'm also bringing my friends here. One stays in this pocket, and the other one stays in this pocket. This is Betsy, and this is Bob. And I bring a good wealth of experience to my investigations. These two beauties here, these are prize fighters, and I'm ready to take on any nonsense that's going on, guys. Anyway, back to the case. I'm proposing, and this is why I've gathered you all here, that all parties bring our great experience, our information. We've got 3 professors in this room. We have yourself, Mr. Lane, who can help provide some more background for your cousin's disappearance. I'm proposing we get together because I think time is of the essence in this case. Would you be willing to agree to cooperating closely with an investigation with myself? And we have 3 lines of inquiry that I can see, clear lines of inquiry. So just to help us start off, and I think we need to start off ASAP. First, do we have access to the professor's diary or a schedule that or what he was currently working on? Professors, you could help with that. Or do we have access to his room or his office here at the university? For Mr. Lane, do we have access? Can we get access to David Lane's Hyde Street townhouse as well?
Of course, of course. It's family property.
And great. We need to do that today, I would think. And Mr. Julius would be happy to assist us with that, as I know how important this is for you, of course. Lastly, I want to, if we're struggling for information, we need to look at this reported case in the newspaper, because there may be some kind of connection between the people that you're looking for too. Gentlemen, what do you think?
Well, I don't mind bankrolling this little endeavor we're going into. But as I've stated before, if this turns out to be 3 separate incidences, I must say that my cousin has to be the top priority. I'm willing to pay whatever your services are. It's going to take to bring him back. My family's very upset about this.
I understand. No problem. Professors, do you think you'll be able to aid us in some investigating of your own?
Mr. Steele, I'm very interested in helping in any way I can here at the university. Obviously, we've got some rules around here, but we could probably get help from the administration to seek the things you want.
That's excellent. And I understand, Professor, that you have some connection with the study of clues and evidence and forensics. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I have not only my own connections, but connections within the police department, and if necessary, I can rely upon them to give us assistance.
Excellent. That may be good support. Great.
Sometimes more outside of the normal channels there, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Well, that's kind of the way I operate. I often find the police are far too slow. I take a far more direct approach myself. Get things done. Okay, well, I suggest that on the priority list is the townhouse, Mr. Lane's townhouse. But as we're here at the university, perhaps we could take a look at the professor's office and see if we can make any connections there before we head out. What do you say, gentlemen?
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Just to add some points of clarification, Mr. David Lane's townhouse is in Silver City, not Albuquerque. You're in Albuquerque right now.
Okay, and Silver City is a distance away.
6 to 7 hours drive away.
Okie doke. Right. Well, my suggestion then, Amanda's suggestion is we check out the university while we're here.
Mr. Steele, am I correct in understanding that it's just the connections between Silver City and the time frame of them going missing that you believe ties our 3 friends together here?
I think the dates and the location are an extreme, I would say more than a coincidence, an extreme coincidence. And the fact that in all 3 cases, there's been, only in a disappearance case, either a body is found or a note is left or a ransom note is given. So the fact that all 3 have the same kind of scenario is a concern, yes.
It seems like loose connections to me, but yeah, I'm certainly willing to help out here. Should we go and ask one of the deans for permission to enter his office?
That would be excellent.
Okay, if that's what you want to do.
As soon as we finish investigating the office, I want to check up on something in the library archives if we can get to them. I know with the construction going on and stuff, it's going to be difficult, but I'm remembering something important about Silver City. It's at the tip of my head.
You are actually sitting in a room attached to Hodgkin Hall, which has all the books in it. It's kind of a makeshift library, temporarily, and it's literally right outside your door, right where you're sitting right now.
Okay. There's something important about Silver City that's at the top of my head. I just can't think of it right this moment.
So if you want to do that first on your way out, or because the dean, you're going to have to probably cross the campus to get to the psychology department and the dean of psychology and get all of that.
Is his office closer than the dean's office?
Is whose office? Oh, Godfrey's.
Godfrey's.
It's in the same. It's in the same building.
Okay.
The hell is that noise? Do you hear that?
I heard
Oh,
something.
sorry.
Is
It's my
that part of the game?
iPad. It's my iPad. I was just getting ready in case you ask me questions about Silver City that I don't know.
Do we? I guess this is a question more for you, Tom. Do we know anything about the disappearances? Like, especially like since we're friends with William, do we know anything about it? Like, was it violent? Was it just everybody all of a sudden everyone realized he never showed up? Or
the dean's been kind of closed-mouthed about it. As friend, you know that he was traveling on the train and seems to have just disappeared.
And has Steele been able to go up to Silver City and check out the cousin's abode?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No. Actually, I was going to suggest that, though he didn't say it directly, this also allows Steele to work on both cases, because if you're going to have to go to Silver City, you know, and both cases are related to Silver City, then you might as well go, you know, work on them together. All right, so you're just going to step out the door into the books.
Yeah.
What information are you looking for?
Player knows, character doesn't. Can I make an idea roll to see if my character realizes something very obvious about Silver City?
Well, I don't know. You got to tell me, or I.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make an idea roll then to check on that.
Okay, I still want to know what you're checking on before you check on.
Oh, okay. Very important historical happenings occurred in the late 1800s in the Silver City area. That's smack dab in the Lincoln County War.
Okay.
Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett and all that other fun stuff. And just kind of curious that there might have been something about missing people in regards to the Lincoln County War back in the day that might have some bearing upon this case.
Okay, go ahead and do your roll.
And I miss.
Nothing that you find directly, nothing that shows any kind of missing people at that time, although records are not going to be very thorough. So,
Right.
All right. Anything else in the library you want to check out before you go to the dean?
While he was looking that up, I am curious how Silver City got its name, especially this modern name of it.
Let's see. Let's see. You are able to discern that it was once an Apache campsite, that the Spaniards moved it was first known for its copper mining. After the Civil War, there were settlements, American prospectors, and Silver City was founded in 1870. It was after the discovery of silver ore. So that's where the name came from, Silver Strike.
And it has sounds like it has a pretty long history of mining there.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Would any of the professors know if there's a kind of archaeology history there as well? Is there that kind of history, or is it?
There's American Indian history and Spanish history. There goes back even farther. I mean, it goes back into the 1600s probably.
Yeah, if you were to have asked Gregor, he would tell you that this area, even though it looks sparse, it has been inhabited for a very long time. With lots of tribal movement, so it's there's a long history of people moving through this area, and to the nature of sacred sites, it may have been one at one point, but things change even through the times of the native folks, just changing homelands and territories.
All right.
Mhm.
So, anyways, you
This
head
is all
across.
terribly. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Your guys
I was
have
just
press.
gonna be arrogant. So yeah.
Okay.
All
We've had enough of your arrogance.
Yeah.
All right. So you cross the campus and you find the dean, and he's a little reluctant, but he knows that you guys are all friends. So, and he's not really happy either with that the police haven't turned anything up. So, yes, you may look in his office, and he mentions to you that whether you knew this or not, he didn't actually live on campus. He has a house in Albuquerque.
Oh, interesting. And would you happen to have that address?
Of course, and he gives you the address.
Steele. After this, I say we go and check that house out. What do you say?
Yeah, that sounds ideal. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Would we know? I assume he's not married or anything like that.
No, he's not married.
Can I suggest
Pardon
as
me,
we get into
professors?
his office?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Pardon me, professors. I'm kind of late to the whole thing here, but did Professor Godfrey ever mentioned about going out on a trip towards Silver City, business or pleasure or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware
He didn't have any classes this semester. So if that's the case, he was probably doing research. You don't know what his movements were during this last couple of months.
So as we go into the office, I suggest that we make a look for his any possible diary or note of kind of itinerary or anything like that to see, check around on his desk.
Okay, go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Everybody?
If that's what you all are doing.
Okay.
Yeah, good success.
Made it.
Okay. As you're looking around his office, he does have a small collection displayed around the room of American Indian artifacts. He seems to favor the Navajo and the Apache.
Northern tribes.
He has a number of books on the history of early Spanish explorers, and for the most part, at the moment, his office is very neat and clean. He hasn't been in his office for a while. Probably any kind of stuff related to school, he may have taken home with him. So you don't really find anything in here at all.
We don't even come across a diary?
No.
Or a journal? Okay.
Well, if we're going to waste any more time on this Godfrey man, I say we just get to his house, get it over with, and then start trucking on to Silver City. You can take my bed.
Sounds good to me.
How about like
Fair
an
enough.
itinerary? How about like an itinerary, like a day planner or anything that would show a schedule?
Since he didn't have classes until next semester, he was probably working on it at home, if anywhere at all. There would have been no reason to come into the office.
Would the dean have known whatever research he was officially working on?
Oh, yes, probably.
I'd like to go back there then speak with the dean again.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right. So for now, you're in the room. Anything else you want to look for in here?
I suggest to the professors is, you guys are all about books. You can maybe have a look in his collection here to see if it's obvious whatever it was he's working on, in case that gives us a clue to where he may have headed to.
Yeah, if his office is like, if he doesn't have classes or anything, did he leave everything all neat and tidy? Everything's put away, or is it a cluttered mess?
Everything's more or less put away.
Okay.
He
Are there any,
was. I'm sorry. He was a rather energetic guy, very enthusiastic about the work that he was doing. However, most of his work is psychology. So lots of psychology books and things like that. The American, the Spanish history and the American Indian history, that was all kind of his hobby. So
we spoke quite a bit about his superstitions in stories related to local legend. Do any of the items that are sitting out prominent in the room suggest that those things could have been on his mind? Such as the Navajo and Apache items you mentioned, or the stuff that was related to the early Spanish explorers?
Well, go ahead and do a psychology roll. See if you can determine what he was thinking or guessing.
No, I just have basing, and I rolled a 13.
Okay. It all just looks like really interesting, somewhat unique artifacts of probably Apache origin. That's at least your guess. You have some expertise, so you can tell that. It's not the kind of stuff you just find in a trinket shop, although there's probably some of that too.
Oh, could I do an appraise to see if they're worth any actual money?
Sure, but I'm not sure that you would know.
Yeah, probably not. Right?
It's not. Yeah, it's not the kind of thing that you would know how to appraise.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
I want to go direct to the desk in case there's any locked drawers or anything like that on his actual desk. Is there anything?
No, there's no locked drawers, and mostly there's pencils, pens, things like that in there. There are some files, but the files all have to do with tests, and he's got so that he can pass them out. He has them all organized according to the class that he's teaching and so forth. But it just doesn't seem like there's anything out of the ordinary here at all.
Any notepads?
I'm sorry?
Any notepads on the desk that are out in the open? Scratch paper or anything like that?
No.
No. Okay. Is there anything in the way of the artifacts on the wall that looks like that there might have been something on the wall or on one of his shelves that could have occupied a spot but is no longer there?
It does not.
Okay.
Is there a jacket in the room? A jacket or any sort of
no,
clothing
there's no clothing or anything like that. The everything also looks freshly dusted, but that's not unusual because there is cleaning staff that come in and dust things and do that. Jeff, did you have a question? Oh, okay.
So Julius is like walking out of the office and kind of turns back. Would you like to speak to the dean before we leave, or?
Yeah, I was just about to suggest that.
All right. So you head back up to the dean's office. He's upstairs, and he's sitting behind your desk, and he's like, "Well, did you turn up anything interesting?"
Not really. His office is pretty clean.
Yeah.
Did he happen to mention, or has he been working on any sort of official university research?
Oh, he's been working on. He's kind of he's one of the heads of the psychology department, and I believe he's working on a number of books and white papers.
Anything that the university would have been paying for his travel, or we could get a clue as to what it was he was most interested in recently?
His travel, because the fact that he was in Silver City, I don't think that that's related at all to his psychology department. Not that I'm aware of. He didn't put in a requisition for any of that. Although he did put in a requisition for the semester off. So.
Did he say what he was doing with the semester off?
Pursuing hobbies, I think, is what he told us.
It's about concurring from what we're seeing.
Well, from his office, you can see he had an interest in American Indian studies, and he loves New Mexico, and he likes all of the intricate history of New Mexico. So, but that's not really anything that I've ever discussed with him. It's just obvious from his walls.
Would our library be able to track any books that he had taken out or pulled from reserves recently?
It should. Sure.
Okay.
Let's look into that.
Right.
Does he receive a stipend still from the university? Or is
he's a tenured, so he's paid. I think he's paid whether he's here or not, but he also has to produce a certain, has to show something for it. So he's, as I say, he's working on papers, but
is he paid monthly or weekly or?
I don't know how they're paid in universities. He's paid the way universities pay their employees.
What I'm trying to get at is do you have an address where you may have sent his most recent check, maybe in Silver City?
I'm not sure. Payroll would probably know that, and my guess is it would be sent to his home.
Okay.
In Albuquerque.
Well, professors, I think we need to move on to the Dr. Godfrey's home. There may be some relevant evidence or clues there.
Mr. Lane, Mr. Steele, it does seem like maybe he was on some sort of personal pursuit here, and something he maybe have done research for. Is it possible we could just take a few more moments to run back to the library and check and see any of his recent browsing history?
Sure.
Especially since we're here now.
All right, but do hurry up. I'll meet you in the car.
Sure.
Okay. That's what I would like to do.
Okay.
I accompany Julius and discuss the matter at hand, while the
All right.
gentlemen of study do the research.
So the two of you are going to head to the car, and the other three of you are going to go back to the library. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the three of you head back to the library. Takes you a couple minutes to cross the campus. What would you like to look for?
Librarian?
Okay.
And
There are actually a number of librarians, and they are they have to do with whatever subject matter you're looking for. It's a huge collection of books.
so of interest to Spanish exploring, so maybe history or archaeology?
Okay.
And
Native
I'd like to
American studies.
I'd like to know I'd like to know first of all if any of the librarians in that particular area were just familiar with seeing the doctor come and go, and perhaps what he was already interested in.
Most of them are familiar with the doctor. Well, not most of them. The ones who have to do with history and archaeology and things like that. You're already aware that he had an interest. So, yeah, I mean, they're familiar with him. They've seen him come and go. They haven't seen him come and go in a while.
Can they direct
This is
us?
a modern library, right? Like they'd be able to look up his name with.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could just be like, "This is the books he checked out." Right?
But you're in the car.
I'm just saying, he's a professor. He would understand modern library usage.
All right. So,
While they're looking at that, I want to take another shot at the records for the region again. Maybe kind of step a little bit out of the Lincoln County War thing, but maybe, if the evidence does kind of pull back to it, just take a few moments to pursue that again, but just kind of get a little more broader prospect in my search this time.
nothing in particular. I mean, some interesting stuff, but nothing related. At least nothing that I can tell you. So. And what were the other two looking for? What were you guys looking for in the library?
We would like to find his reading card, if that's what it's called. Yeah.
I don't really have a list because it's kind of mundane. It's just books, various things, various reference materials for, early Spanish, what cities were founded, what dates and numbers mostly. but nothing that strikes you as odd or unusual. A lot of the stuff that he was interested in as far as American Indian history, he actually was getting more information from you guys than he was from anything that was published, since you guys were the experts, really.
Okay. That's really what I wanted there. Yeah.
Would we know from his type of questioning, his line of questioning, anything strike us as being odd about it? I mean, you gave us notes originally about his interest in religious beliefs. Was there anything that stuck out about that, or no?
Not really. It just seemed like, he seemed in general fascinated with all of it. And there were times when he went off on a tangent and would talk about other mythologies and things like that he had interest in. But for you guys, he was really interested in the American Indian stuff.
Well, we better get back to Julius because he's rather anxious to get going.
I agree.
Between you and me, I'm a little... He is out of earshot, right?
Yeah, he's in the car.
I look over my shoulder.
He's not here, guys.
He's not there.
I don't know if I'm too happy about his priority of... I understand he's looking for a family member, but... Well, I guess he's worried.
I am a little concerned on his bravado. I know his heart's in the right place, but, we are going to some areas of the state where there's some people who are pretty touchy, and, it's... Some of these people haven't realized that the Wild West is over, and there's some cats out there who will pull a gun on you for just saying the wrong words.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm used to watching my tongue, but if we have to split from him, we have to split from him.
Oh, I'm in agreement.
All right. So you guys have you finished?
Now let's see what that ride's all about.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Holmes, have you solved the case yet?
Yeah, did you guys want to have a conversation in the car before they get there?
No, I'm happy just to get going.
All right.
Are we planning just a day trip here? Are we going overnight or week-long expedition? Should we be packing?
Well, I'd imagine we'd have to spend as much time in Silver City as possible, right? So, do I have a driver?
No.
No. Well, I'd imagine one of you can operate the vehicle, maybe take shifts or something like that, and I'll get us all rooms when we get to Silver City.
Perhaps I misunderstood. I thought we were going to Dr. Godfrey's house here in Albuquerque first.
Well, he
I
asked
think that's
about
correct.
the long-term plan. We'll look at that house, and then we'll head off to Silver City.
Okay.
Well, I need to make some arrangements before we ultimately head out, but I agree. Let's go have a look at the house. We may get some better ideas of we're faced here.
Let's say it's about noon now. It's about 3 o'clock when you first met each other. All right. Did you guys decide on who wanted to drive? I realize that it's Julius's car.
I'm happy to let Julius drive.
I really. Why don't one of you gentlemen drive? You seem more the type.
I don't like the speeds of these new contraptions.
A little question for the GM is David Lane's house. I've got it down here in downtown Silver City. So is that actually in Silver City as well?
That is, David Lane is in Silver City. That's where he was, Silver City.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just meted that as a part of the property we were interested, like as a family property. Was that overstepping my boundaries, or?
I actually didn't hear what you said. So.
Oh, okay. I was just said it was like part of the family estate.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
But David probably wouldn't have rented.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
He would have just bought something and then stayed there as long as he wanted and then sold it.
Sounds about right.
Actually, that might not be the case. He might have actually just said to his lawyer, get me a place there, and then lived there. And then when he's gone, they just turn it back over. In any case,
off to Godfrey's house. If you want, if none of you will drive, then I will. I guess I must. I begrudgingly get behind the wheel.
All right. So you drive across town, and you come to a rather modest small house. It's 2 stories. It's kind of a Victorian-esque sort of looking thing. But it's not for a wealthy man. It probably wasn't his originally. He didn't build it. There you are. You're in front of it. What do you want to do?
What a shithole. Ugh. Well, let's go open the door. I'm not going to beckon them to open the door. Stand in front of it. Come on, open the door.
We don't have any keys or anything, do we, for this place?
Steele.
Nope.
Well, what do you think I'm paying you for? Open the damn door.
Okay, well, take a walk round and a look in the windows, see what's going on, see if there's an open window or some way to get in easy.
I put a glove on and check the door handle.
Do a luck roll.
Okay.
I passed.
Okay. I got a 12. I also passed.
Okay. As you guys are walking around the house, you suddenly hear a large, a jarring sort of noise, a sort of a bang, but it's not a gun. It's the sound of a window going up like this and hitting the thing. And a woman with red hair, she looks like she's probably about 60, sticks her head out of the window and she says, "You there?" He says, "What are you doing on my property? Get the hell away from here." I don't know why she talked like that, but that's what she said.
Are you Mrs. Godfrey?
Oh, God, no. I'm Mrs. Baines. Who the hell are you?
We're looking for Mr. Godfrey. We're his friends and associates.
Mrs. Baines?
She gives you kind of a stern look, and she says, "Go around to the front door."
We do as we're told and we get round there.
All right.
I'm heading that direction.
You go to the front door, and she opens it, but just a little. And she says, "Who are you now?" He says, "I'm Mr. Godfrey's. I'm Mr. Godfrey's hat. I'm Mr. Godfrey's housekeeper."
Mr. Baines, I don't know if you remembered me. I'm a colleague, extended colleague of Dr. Godfrey's, Robert Harlow out of the forensics department. I've been over here for several of his gatherings, as have these other 2 professors, whom I'm sure you might have met on several other occasions more than myself.
She looks at you, and she says, "Well, what's this about? Don't you know that he's missing?"
That's exactly why we're here, is we're trying to figure out what's going on. He's been gone for a while and he's been called missing, and that's why we're looking into this.
She says, go ahead and do a persuade roll. Try that.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm not persuasive. I'm 99 out for me.
I'm very persuasive.
She says, "Who are these other people?"
"Oh, pleasure to meet you. Julius Clayton."
She says, "I don't know who you are."
I'm sure you don't, ma'am. But my dear cousin is also missing. And our private investigator here, Mr. Steele, is under the assumption that the two cases may be entwined. Now, we hate to bother you, but if there was any way that we may be able to maybe take a look around and maybe ask you some questions about Mr. Godfrey, it would mean the world to me.
She says, I don't like your tone. She says, I recognize you. Aren't you Mr. Dr. Hisney?
Yes, ma'am. I've seen you around. I'm sure we bumped into each other at some point.
So, if I'm to understand you correctly, you're trying to help find the professor.
Yes.
Why didn't you say so? She says. Why don't you come on in? And as you come in, she gives Lane a dirty look, like trying to flatter me or trying to.
I kiss her hand.
She yanks her hand away. She says, "Come on in, sit there in the parlor."
Have you heard anything personally, Miss Baines?
Nothing at all. She says, "It was on the 16th when I informed the police that he hadn't shown up for a couple days. I actually expected him earlier. He was supposed to be on the train, but he never arrived. And I thought perhaps he was just a little delayed. But then the second day he wasn't here. So I told them that they better look into it. And lo and behold, he's missing. I don't have any idea why.
Here he was staying in Silver City.
I don't, but he's done this like 3 times this last month.
So this isn't the first time he's been to Silver City.
Oh no, he seems to be very interested in something there.
And is he taking much about it?
I'm sorry, you both asked at the same time.
Does he talk much about what's taking him out there?
Oh my, he's very enthusiastic, but he knows that I'm not really that interested. He's always going on about his masks and his in the Indian artifacts. Don't really know what Indian artifacts there might be, but the tomahawk and all these things that he's got, you can see them around the room, and it's all just, I don't know. It's his obsession, his hobby.
Does he keep an office here in the house?
Oh yes. He says,
would you mind if we have a look through some of his things to try to get an idea of what he's been up to?
I don't want you disturbing anything. He's a very busy man. He's always working on things. He has a number of papers he's working on, and I'm allowed to clean, but I am not allowed to touch any of his private things. So if you have to go looking, don't make sure you put everything back exactly what it was, and don't go erasing anything on a chalkboard or anything like that. But yes, you may. And she just points to a door, and it's like a den or it's an office attached to the parlor. And she said, "Would you like anything to eat or drink while you're here?"
I'm pretty good myself, man, but I do appreciate the offer there. Although I am curious, has he always gone out to Silver City via train? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think to myself, because she's offering some food or drink, it's a good opportunity to kind of get her out of the way. So
I'll make some. Would you like tea or coffee? I can make some. I've got some cookies.
Coffee would be swell.
Excellent. So she says, "I'll get that for you right now. Please make yourself at home." And she goes. So she's out of the room.
Why is she here?
She's contracted to clean up, monthly, weekly basis.
Does she live here?
But she knows he's missing.
Probably not. Probably has a set of keys. I have a housekeeper too. Comes in every 2 weeks. Has a set of keys to my house.
Even when you've been reported missing?
Mm-hmm. In fact, actually, I was on extended leave for a while where I couldn't make contact, and she kept the contract. You know, whether I'm there or not, she comes in and cleans up. That's what I pay her for.
Keeper, have we seen her around regularly when visiting here, or is this really something unusual to even see her about at this time of day?
Actually, because you know her, I mean, you know the doctor and so forth. She's probably a live-in.
Okay.
Okay. Now, all right, that makes more sense then. All right.
Fair enough.
She doesn't have a wedding ring. She's not married. So.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was weird. Like, I reported him missing. I'm gonna go hang out at his house while he's gone, though. Like,
housework never finishes.
yeah.
Tom, I'm going to
compulsive.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that while everybody's talking, I'm going to start kind of eyeing the place and looking for anything kind of out of the ordinary, off or otherwise.
Okay. Much like his office at the university, his house is kind of the same. He has artifacts here and there, some interesting ones, but nothing unusual. Are you going into his study?
I'm going to make my way there. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go whenever Dr. Harlow gets up to go.
All right. So you head in to the study, and just like his office, everything is pretty neat and pretty clean. There are, however, a few folders with manuscripts and things like that are on the table. There's a typewriter that he's been working on, although there's nothing in the typewriter at the moment. Give me something more specific what you guys are looking for.
First of all, the chalkboard. See if there's anything written on the chalkboard. Pull out my notepad, write down anything that may strike me as being pertinent.
The chalkboard has technical observations from psychology things, psychology related.
Notepads on the table, or like ledger type stuff that's maybe kind of easy to get to, open scratch paper, that sort of thing.
There is scratch paper. There is like little notebooks and like that. As you thumb through them, however, they're all dealing with psychology and things like that.
Focus on scratch paper. Just kind of have a see if there's anything that looks like an indentation from the previous page on there. Any indication of that?
Sure.
Okay.
There's probably an ink blotter as well.
Okay. Okay. If there's like a paper on the ink blotter and the scratch paper, I want to kind of take a pencil and just kind of lightly go over it there to see if there's anything that comes up.
Things come up, but once again, they all seem to be related to psychology.
Mm-hmm. Grocery list and that sort of thing. Otherwise, I take it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, where's his bedroom? On the second floor?
His bedroom is on the second floor. Yeah.
Steele, let's go check out his bedroom.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Baines is in the living room. She's put down some coffee and cookies, and she's like, "Can I help you? If you need anything, just call me."
Will do.
Will do. Thank you, Mrs. Baines.
All right. So two of you are going upstairs, and the other two are still in the study. Is that correct?
Okay.
Sure.
3.
Okay. Well. Okay. Tell me that once again. Who is going where?
I'm still in the study.
In the study.
Upstairs.
Upstairs.
Study.
Okay. So 2 in the study and 2 upstairs.
3 in the study, right?
Oh wait. Okay. 3 in the study and 2 upstairs. All right. The 2 that go upstairs, you look into his bedroom, and it seems like a very nice bedroom. There's a wardrobe. There are some drawers. There is a neatly made bed, so neatly made that you could toss a quarter onto it and it would bounce right up. Everything is, of course, dusted and neat, and everything is in its place.
I want to check bedside cabinets and then maybe the wardrobe to see if there's any clothes or anything out of the ordinary, muddy boots, or check the pockets and jackets and things like that.
Okay. In a drawer next to his bed on the right-hand side, you find a loaded .38 revolver. And there is a coat hanging on the back of his door on a hook.
And what's in the coat?
When you look in the coat, there is a train ticket, and the train ticket is for Silver City, New Mexico.
What's the date on it?
I don't know. Early last month.
Okay, so this is one of the previous trips that he's taken.
Right.
Okay.
And after a rather thorough search, that's about all that you find up in his room. Now, back down in the study, there are books on the shelf. There are shelves of books, by the way. And once again, they're interspersed with artifacts. What else would you guys like to look through in the study?
I'd like to pull out some of the books and see if anything of interest might be bookmarked in the books, or dog-eared pages, anything like that, related to the natives.
All right. Some of them are copies of books that you did see in the library. I would like you to do a spot hidden.
Yeah. You got a 4.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 is extreme for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're looking through the books and you're pulling some of them out and checking them, and as you're doing that, you notice something odd, and it's just an accident that you discover this. But there's a section of books that when you're pulling them out and you're putting them back in, there's a point where they go back a little farther than they would over here. And you realize that there is a book behind the books, kind of hidden back there on the shelf. It's flattened, flat against the back. When you pull it out, the book is written in German, and the cover of the book says Unaussprechlichen Kulten.
I don't recognize that whatsoever. I show it to the professors in the room with me. I'm like, does this look familiar? Can you read this? It's stuck in the back.
Frank will cringe in horror.
Are we downstairs yet?
No, this is going on while you're upstairs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Unexpected cult. I don't know German much, but unexplained cults.
Oh, it's not a
That's
code.
Weird. No. Unexplained cults.
Cults. It ties into his religious questions, I guess.
I wonder if it has anything to do. Doctors, was there any kind of German expeditions out into New Mexico here, say, past 20, 30 years?
None that you know of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Unexplained cults.
Tom, can I ask, would I know, we've been using the term very liberally with psychology. Is there a particular study or niche that he's interested in, or is it just a broad professor, psychology in general?
Psychology, he's a professor of psychology, so he's teaching a general psychology. He's doing some research probably in, most psychologists do some research in like clinical depression, something like that. Nothing really unusual, kind of mundane. However, the other end of that is he seems to have a real interest in the occult and investigating things about the occult and superstitions and mythologies and things like that. Because you got a 4, you just happen to flip the book over, and there is a little tag, handwritten, that's actually it's probably printed, that's been stuck onto the book, and it reads "The Tomb." Actually, it doesn't read "The Tomb." It reads, well, it reads "La Tumba," the tomb, and it says $100, which
$100.
Yeah, which in 1920s is close to $1,300
Wow, I see.
for this book.
This La Tamba is, do I recognize the language? I'm assuming it means the tomb.
It's
Yeah.
Spanish.
Spanish. Okay, then I've got
I recognize
that.
it.
Yeah. Does it look like it was a label that had been on the book because it was for sale?
Yes.
And that was like a price he paid for it?
Yes, the book itself looks very old and extremely well made. I mean, it's got a leather binding, and this was crafted a long time ago.
And La Tamba, is that the name of the bookstore then?
La Tumba.
The seller?
That's what it just says. La Tumba, $100.
Handwritten?
Like you would guess that.
Okay.
This is interesting. A book on hidden cults that's itself hidden.
I stick my hand back into that hole behind the books and try to see if there's anything else back there.
No.
Okay.
And there's not really a hole back there. It's just that because the book was behind there, the other book stuck out just a little bit, the thickness of the book.
Okay.
Does this come as a surprise to us, those of us that knew him?
That he had an interest in the occult? No, not at all. You knew that already.
Just flipping through this book, do I recognize any symbolism that would be related to the local native tribes?
Nothing like that. What you see when you flip through it is, of course, it's all written in German, in a very fancy sort of type, and there are occasionally what look like occult diagrams and things like that, though you don't understand what they mean.
He's a little bit out of place for his love of Native American stuff. Then again,
Have we come downstairs yet?
By now, you've come downstairs and you're rejoining them in the study.
So, gentlemen, find anything interesting?
Found a strange book here.
I take a look at it, and I speak German, so.
Oh.
I'm like,
Is it a cookbook?
I don't believe so.
don't think so.
Do I have to make a German roll, or just going to say that I know what the title is?
Yeah, do a German roll.
Let's see, British German. Yeah, just made it.
Okay. Unash Brecklick and Colton would probably best translate. It would be like the hidden cults or the secret cults.
What exactly was your boy into?
That's what I'm wondering.
You liked a lot of stories about legends and superstitions. He called them sometimes.
I try to get an idea of like, kind of flip through, kind of get an idea of what the text is. Like if it's about specific cults of the region, or if it's got a.
Try German, or do your German roll again, but this time you need to get a hard roll, because what you discover is that it's in like middle high German. It's an old version of German.
All right, wish me luck, guys. No, I made it, but not a hard.
You can pick out a few words. You know that with some study, you might be able to, translate bits and pieces of it, but it has something to do with the occult, with secret cults that exist around the world.
Well, boys, on our trip up to Silver City, if someone wouldn't mind driving, I'll try and see if I can't, understand this a little better. But this is some highfalutin German that I'm not completely familiar with. But that's not to say I don't understand any of it. It's just a little more difficult than what I'm used to.
Does look pretty old.
It does. It looks expensive.
That it does. That you can appraise. You can appraise old books.
Boom.
It's well worth the $100 that he paid for it.
What year do you figure it was laid down in?
There's probably a book plate. I didn't write it down, but this is one I can find the answer to.
Aha! Just glad appraise paid off. I put a ton of points in it.
Oops. Go on with your conversation. I'll get you your answer.
1845, I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Your professor friend seems like quite the character. It's certainly didn't define himself as just a psychologist. I certainly don't believe that he was going up to Silver City to examine the locals.
There must be something there if he's been there multiple times, unless he's just going for a holiday. But
and I pull out the 38. I go, usually don't need one of these, and just this type of area. And I pull out the 38 pistol that we found.
Now that's odd. If he was smart, he would. If he was smart, he would have taken it out with him, because, quite frankly, getting out of the cities here and stuff, it's almost required to take a firearm with you here. There, nothing else for varmints.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering. Like, why would he leave it here?
Yeah.
Is he a gun enthusiast? Maybe he has many guns.
He might, but at the same time, it's like if he's not a gun enthusiast, then it's rather odd that he wouldn't take it with him, especially going out to that section of the state.
Unash Brecklick and Colton was written in 1839. This is the Dusseldorf edition, and it was written by Frederick Wilhelm von Juntz.
Would the professor be likely the kind of person to have a gun? It wouldn't strike me as being his character, or
it wouldn't be out of the ordinary, I'd think.
It's 1925. Yeah, it wouldn't be that unusual to have a gun.
Okay.
I might have missed something, but the sticker with the tomb written on it and the price tag, was that sticker on the cult book, or was that on a different book?
No, it was stuck onto the cult book.
Okay. So I'll ask Julius, with your knowledge of German, is there a section, or can you look at a table of contents? Is there anything that talks about the tune?
There's no table of contents in the book, but there's no mention. I mean, you don't really see anything like that.
Okay.
The Germans too. He can't just scan over it and find stuff.
Okay.
Well, I certainly can attempt that on the ride up. We'll see what I can manage in the 6-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully a 6-hour drive. Let me give you some idea of the area you're going into. All right, so you're in Albuquerque, which is up towards the top of the middle. And you're going to go down that road and across to Silver City, which is on the left a little bit, just above the Gila National Forest. And that is about a 300-mile trip on not great roads. This is actually based on a modern map, but because that's all I had. But and Las Cruces, you can see it's down here. That's where he was going from Silver City to there on the train.
Now, do any of you have any contacts in Silver City?
Not me personally.
No.
No.
Would it be possible to maybe procure a guide of some sort? Know of any of these type of people that might be able to, either be there on site and help us when we get there, or maybe an agency we could contact?
I'm pretty sure we could, with my experiences out here in the Southwest, we could talk to one of the locals, and I'm sure we could hire them out as a guide. I mean, maybe one of the ranchers or someone in the town. We negotiate well. We could get somebody to help us out.
We can also head to the police for the actual missing persons as well. So we can check in with them and see if they've got any information at all.
And if nothing else, they could be our guide there, because those guys are out in the bush doing patrols all the time, and they know the area far better than most anybody else. Say the ranchers out there.
Sure, and they could definitely point us in the into the right direction. A nice, trustworthy person to help us along our way. Make us blend in with the locals a little more.
Mm-hmm. And with my police connections and stuff, it shouldn't be too hard to talk with the local sheriff about, meeting up and have them take us out. And maybe get some information about some of the other disappearances in the area, especially from this Castronegro place.
Well, if my cousin's house should probably be, if it reflects the way that he lived his life, it should be more than enough when we get there for us to spend the evening. So I don't believe we'd have to make any arrangements for hotels or anything.
Yeah, it's in downtown, so it's going to be really helpful.
So it's what, 3 o'clock now?
Yeah, 3 o'clock. That works.
And it would take us how long to travel 300 miles?
6 hours if you are really lucky.
This is something we should be, first of all, not setting out for tomorrow morning with, and I would suggest to the professors about maybe procuring one of the archaeology department's expedition vehicles to go out there, because quite frankly that streetcar we have out there is not going to last out in the bush.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah,
I'd be glad to ask.
I'd also make sure we have plenty of water and plenty of gasoline to take with us, because save for maybe in Silver City, and I'm saying this is maybe from my personal experience going out there into the bush of western New Mexico, It's chance of us finding a gas station are slim to none.
It's good to know. We'll fill up a couple jerry cans probably.
Oh, at least more than a couple, and then take plenty of water because we may end up in a desert area and not anywhere near a reliable water source.
Well, those are all excellent ideas, but as of right now, all we know is we're going to Silver City. And I feel like time is of the essence. And waiting until tomorrow morning, for all I know, my cousin could be murdered by then. I think we should get there, charge through.
You want to go over rough roads in the middle of the night that are some of which have been laid down since conquistadors and not even touched?
Is this unpaved all the way there?
No way. Paved roads? Paved roads in New Mexico are luxury. It's a wonder we have them here in Albuquerque.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Albuquerque didn't get paved roads till just before World War I, and even then it was only around the town square. Or the Great War, shall I say.
While the people are discussing the journey, I want to find the caretaker lady again.
Sure.
And yeah, and
what can I do for you, dearie?
Well, my dear, the missing doctor, Mr. Godfrey, we're really concerned for his safety. Is there anything at all that you can tell me that would give us a clue as to where he may have been going, or anybody he may have been meeting? Anything he may have said? It might not seem that important, but could you tell me if there's something that kind of stands out?
Well, not really. I can tell you that he always took the same train, because he was a very prompt and regular man. So he liked to take the early train, and that's why I was kind of I was the train comes back here, but it's usually in the early evening. And so I thought maybe he had missed a train or something. That's why he hadn't shown up. But he, other than that, his habits were regular. He didn't like just suddenly on the spur of the moment go off and do something. He planned it all out.
And how long would he stay for when he was down there each time?
Oh, usually at least a week. I believe this last time that he went, he had considered visiting a friend, an old friend who lived there. At least that's the first time that he mentioned it to me.
And did he say if this was like a university friend or something like that?
I'm trying to remember who it was that he wanted to stay with. I'm sorry, I just don't remember.
Did we see a journal or a personal directory in his office when we were over there in the study?
You did not.
And we didn't either upstairs, right?
Nope.
And the only thing we found in the coat was the train ticket. How long? Speaking of trains, how long would it take for the train to get to Silver City? Because that might be the better option.
The train probably takes a full 12 hours to get there.
All right.
Well,
do they have a phone here?
Yeah, okay. She owns a phone. They own a phone.
Could I call the train station and find out if there's any departures for Silver City tonight?
Sure. What you find out, I'll just tell you. What you find out is that it leaves at 7 a.m. for Silver City.
All right, so it looks like getting a vehicle like you guys were talking about and getting out in the morning is our option.
I have a question regarding the train ticket. I'm assuming you told us that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Like I had it in my hand while I was calling.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious. I don't know this offhand, but I'm curious if it's a ticket. Would the train take the ticket? In other words,
it's a canceled ticket. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I
from
assumed it
a
was a
previous.
stub. Like a canceled ticket, like it's been torn, like a stub.
I don't know what they did. I think they punched a hole in it.
Yeah, or punch a hole. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
All right. So it's from a previous trip. It doesn't reflect on his current trip.
No.
Okay.
If his current ticket was here, then he would be here.
Right. And his gun.
Because I'm also a little concerned that he left his coat here. I would think he would brought his coat with him. But
well, the average temperature right now is only 74, so it's not that uncomfortable. This is October 1st.
Chilly at night, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think the suggestion of the university vehicle is a great idea. Why not throw in a tent or two or something like that as well, and just stocking up in provisions, water, fuel, and all of that.
Bit of food.
We've got plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
I concur. I throw down $100. Like, good luck with getting all that stuff, guys. I'm gonna go book into my hotel.
Mr. Lane, before you leave, do you know anything about your cousin? Was he into the same? Did he have any of the same interests as Mr.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
He was an upstanding member of society. I'm still not completely convinced these cases have anything to do with each other, but we are heading in the same direction. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mr. Lane, I take it your cousin did a lot of hunting out there in his spare time.
It was a decent shot, you know.
Yeah, there's good deer hunting that section of the state.
We had other interests in Silver City, but I'm sure he took up sport.
Tom, can I ask who reported him missing? Was it the housewife, Miss Baines?
Yes.
And
yeah, how did I know the cousin was missing?
You got contacted by your family in Boston via phone, and they told you that they told you directly that he was kidnapped. But there's actually no evidence that he was kidnapped.
Okay. And I just assumed what they said was the gospel and got on a plane.
Well, you were in Denver at the time, so you just drove down.
Gotcha.
Actually, I take that back. They just told you that he was kidnapped. You're not sure if there was any evidence of that. They didn't give you a police report or anything like that. I can't fax it to you. You were that's what they were told. That's what you were told.
And just one more clarification. There was talk of Godfrey going to Silver City and then this other place, Las Cruces. So was it on his return? He was supposedly coming home from Las Cruces?
The train goes through Las Cruces. So it goes
south.
It goes down from Albuquerque to Las Cruces and then across to Silver City.
That's why it takes so long.
And then, so when he went missing, it was because he did not return
somewhere
between
Las Cruces. Yeah, he didn't return from Silver City. From between Silver City and Las Cruces, he disappeared.
Who was able to verify that he left Silver City or just didn't arrive at Las Cruces?
You don't have any idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The police said that.
Is there a plane I could rent that could fit all of us to?
No,
fly
not
us
in
down?
not in 1925.
Yeah, I'd have to physically own a plane, right?
And it would only hold 2 people. The pilot.
It would only hold 2 people. Yeah.
How about a boat?
You could rent a boat.
Okay.
You'd have to do this really hard to get it to go over the sand.
Would it be faster?
All right. Sounds like we got a plan.
Okay. Yeah, shall we prepare for the journey, guys?
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to.
So go over how you're going to
Go ahead.
prepare. What are you going to bring with you? Other than just mundane stuff that you know. I assume.
Well, I
assume you'll
I
have
head back to the
flashlights and
office.
shit like that. So
Yeah, I head back to the office and pick up. I have 2 pistols. I also have a shotgun and a rifle, which I normally keep locked away. So I want to bring them with us in case there's any hostage kind of scenario that we come across. So I'm going to bring that.
okay.
Can I ask too? I guess I don't know if I would know this for certain, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would I know just by the way that you carry yourself, Mr. Steele, the way you talk, the way you walk? Are you like an above board private eye? Like, would you get along with police easily, or are you kind of a rootin' tootin'?
The opposite of that.
Yeah.
I would say a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't have huge. I'm not a police background myself, so I would be quite happy to go in. He's fairly got high intimidation and all that, so he's fairly strong-headed, but not stupid. Really intelligent.
Okay.
You know, so
Right.
yeah.
So not like a typical bully, just bullying your way about. You're like a professional, in other words.
No, but he was like a pro boxer, so he's quite happy to knock somebody out here and there. You know.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Thanks.
Let me also add to that. Now, all of your characters, except for Julius, are locals. I mean, you've lived in Albuquerque for quite a while. So you know that in Albuquerque, Sam Steele, he's a city detective. You know, he lives in the city. He knows about the city and like that. Once you start south towards Silver City, I mean, it's not much above the Old West. It's primitive. You're not going to find a police department so per se as you're going to find sheriffs and deputies, and probably
Marshal.
ones that cover large areas. You know,
I would definitely be grabbing, in addition to a small prayer bundle, some usual kind of like archaeological supplies for just doing general research, brushing things off, looking around at things. A medium knife that I would typically carry with me, just because being off the res, the fear of being harassed by some people.
Right.
So
Sure.
I would carry that for self-defense. Besides going to back to the archaeology department, I don't have anything else though that I would necessarily pick up that's special to take with me.
okay.
Do I have any contacts in the Silver City area?
Not really.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else bringing anything special?
I kind of wrote a bunch of stuff up earlier, like guns and vehicles and like a bunch of mundane stuff. But besides that, I'm pretty much all set as long as that's all above board.
Okay. Yeah, that's all fine. Except that you're going to leave your car because of the warning that it's a rough road. And is that correct?
Yeah, these hicks know these roads better than I do. So
okay. All right.
I'm thinking another thing.
Huh? Go ahead.
Another thing I was just thinking with the road situation is maybe an extra spare wheel, extra spare, for both. If we're taking 2 vehicles, for both vehicles,
I think you're going to take 1 vehicle, but it's going to be
Right.
something you get from the university.
Okay.
And in fact, the university does have a number of vehicles designed that they can take the desert, because you've got other departments. You've got biology departments that go out and study the wildlife in the desert, stuff like that.
Cool.
Max.
Okay. Tom, my character's going to do three things here in the interim. First of all, I'm going to go home, get all my stuff together, get my field kit, get my outdoor clothes and stuff, get my 45 and knife and everything I take out into the bush, okay, with investigative materials and that sort of thing. Secondly, I am going to and in addition to that, I'm going to stop off at the local general store and pick me up a shotgun and some shells and some light camping gear. I don't have any on hand, but I'm figuring this is an excuse to go ahead and pick that up. And flashlights and extra batteries, that sort of thing.
It also might not be unusual that you guys don't have camping gear.
Yeah.
It might just be something that you occasionally do. You go out into the desert and camp.
Picking up
so
anything.
All that is fine. Yes. Okay. You have all of that.
Secondly, I'm going to make arrangements with my department so that my assistant can take over my classes. Let them know that I'm leaving on a personal matter.
Okay.
And that I'll be back in a few days. Incurred a lot of time and favors to be able to jump off to do that along the way. And then I want to stop off at the police department and talk with some of my contacts there by myself.
That's here in Albuquerque?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can role play through it if you want, but or we can go with the highlights.
Well, okay, let's assume that everybody's getting ready. Everybody's doing whatever you need to do. You're going to go to the police department.
Yep.
All right, let's say go ahead. I'm behind the desk. Yeah, what can I do for you?
Hey, yeah. Got a couple questions here. Been asked to help out with the case of the Lane kidnapping that was recently here, and I give the guy all the details from what I've been told about it. What do you guys know about this?
The Lane kidnapping?
Yeah.
Remember, Elaine was kidnapped from Silver City.
Yeah. Has there been anything on the wires or any kind of information that you guys are aware of in regards to this?
You'd have to talk to the people in Silver City.
Okay. Just kind of curious if some kind of word came through here or not.
Well, we got a lot of other stuff going on, so
I understand. Just kind of curious, who in Silver City in the way of law enforcement is should we be talking with while we're there? Because we're definitely going to be needing to meet up with them, and just kind of curious who to talk to, and if there's anybody there that the other guys here knows to avoid. We got Lane's cousin here with us on this case, and he's a little bit of a bravo, and last thing we all need is somebody to say.
Well, he says, I really don't know. Yep, don't have a clue.
Okay, no problem. Just thought I'd ask, thought I'd check.
They're probably pretty small over there. So Silver City's a decent sized town, but it's not a huge place.
No.
Anything else?
Nope. Just wanted to check on that because just I don't know. Just this whole thing of the kidnapping thing here is odd, and the fact that nothing is from what I've been told on this thing with limited information is that there's been no.
You're from the university.
Yeah, they called me in on this because they figured that I had a mind for coming up with information in regards to these things. I'm trying to get as much information as I can while I'm here. We're all going to go down there and kind of let you guys know about that too, in case if something were to occur, that maybe you could talk to Detective McNamara about that. What happens if I don't happen to turn up or in the next few days? I know he's out on a case there over in Rio Rancho, and won't be back for a while. But if I happen to disappear and stuff, let them know about what's going on, what we're going out for.
Okay, well, don't disappear. We don't need any more disappeared people.
No, I don't intend to, but that's why I'm checking in with you guys here, in part, and to leave a message with McNamara, so that in case
Well, the only one that we've got any information on was Dr. Godfrey.
Yeah, well, what can you tell me about Dr. Godfrey's situation there?
Well, not much, and it's not really a high priority. I mean, full-grown adults going missing happens every day.
Oh, yeah.
And it usually just means they moved. I can tell you that that he traveled back and forth to Silver City quite a bit this year.
Mm-hmm.
That the last time he went, he was planning on staying for 2 weeks, and he stayed over with a friend, and that the friend confirms that he left to come home, but that's where he disappeared.
Who was the friend that he stayed with?
I don't have a name on that one.
Okay, so just basically stayed with a friend.
And his landlady called when he was missing for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
She called 2 days after the friend said that he left.
Okay, so he did leave.
He confirmed that he left.
Okay.
Said that he drove him to the train station. We didn't get a chance to discuss anything with the train conductor or anything like that. As I say, it's not really a high priority. We got burglaries. We got all other things going on right now.
Okay. Well, thank you, and just let you know, if it all goes well and I come back, the game's on for Sunday night.
Cool.
All
right. So,
okay, I'm gonna before I end everything on my rounds and stuff, I'm gonna give both the probably in separate phone calls, both professors, information about the friend, and to both of them suggest that maybe calling up the housekeeper and see if we can get a name on that friend.
She's gonna remember.
Mm-hmm. And let them know that he actually left on the train to come back to Albuquerque. Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, that would probably be Dr. Hisney. I don't have a phone.
Okay, then I'll call Dr. Hisney and pass it along to him about that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Hey, no problem. It's kind of interesting that she didn't mention anything about the friend.
She did.
Oh, she did?
I think
Okay, I didn't hear it when I was there. I was just keeping an eye on other things in the study at the time.
She just couldn't remember the name.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But it's good to know that he disappeared apparently when he was on the train.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth visiting the train station before we leave?
Might be.
Yeah.
I assume I'm gonna, call and keep everybody in the loop that I know who has a phone.
Okay.
At this point.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to jog down to the train station and go and speak to the ticket office if he's been traveling regular.
Well, at the moment, it's probably around 6 p.m. and the train arrives at like 8 p.m. and it's the same train that goes out in the morning.
Okay.
So don't add up the hours that I said, because that probably doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, arriving in time, a few minutes before the train would maybe arrive, speak to the conductors.
We'll assume it leaves in the morning, it goes there, and then it comes back and it arrives in the evening. It's not 12 hours. That doesn't make any sense, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
All right. So is that what you wanted to do?
Yes, but any is Mr. Lane, is Josh, is he good at
Yeah.
persuade and such like? Do you want to accompany me down to the station? Okay, we
sure.
head
Can I bring my gin and tonic? Are you gonna drive, or how are we gonna do this?
I'll drive, you drink.
Sounds great.
All right. So you drive down to the train station after you've had dinner and all that sort of stuff. And you arrive there. You time it so that you arrive there, about 7:45. And 15 minutes later, the train arrives. There's, of course, a hustle and bustle of people getting off, getting their bags. But if you want, you can corner the conductor.
Yep, absolutely. So
Hello, good sir.
The conductor is a very tall, blonde, very white complected fellow. And he's like, yes, may I help you?
Yes, my name is Julius Clayton. I was hoping that we may be able to ask a couple questions about a regular passenger of yours.
Of course. My name, by the way, is Hans Harkinson.
Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Who is this passenger?
A Dr. Godfrey. Are you familiar with him?
Dr.
And I pull out,
Godfrey,
like,
short little man with spectacles, balding head. Yes,
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 that's
I know who he is. Yes.
And this is your regular route. Your go back and forth from Silver City on
Every day,
every day,
5 days a week.
Do you remember him leaving this station? What was it, 4 days ago or a week ago or whatever time he would have left?
The last time, leaving here, going to Silver City, was at the beginning of the month. I also remember him getting on the train to come home. Let's see, when he left from here to go there, I do remember him asking me a question, seeing if I could find him a bus schedule from Silver City to a town called Castronegro. I found him such a bus schedule. I believe it costs 25 cents, the bus. And then on his way back, I told this to the police, that he seemed a bit inebriated, not to put too fine a word on it, which is kind of odd considering that it's prohibition. But there's people who can find their place. He was also in the company of two men. Had a kind of odd appearance. I would have thought at first that they were American Indians. They had black hair. But they had green eyes, which I thought was rather unusual. And they were kind of dressed like cowhands, or, they were not very good looking men, kind of ugly. Now, the professor was not a good looking man either, and it was kind of average, but these two were, not very pleasant looking people. They were helping him.
Was he bringing things back? Were they helping him carry things?
No, they were sort of helping him not to fall over.
And this was returning. This was returning back to Albuquerque.
This was going from Silver City to Las Cruces. And I don't recall him getting off the train, but there aren't any stops. I don't think there's any stops. Well, he would know. I don't think that there's any stops between there and Las Cruces.
But you
so
don't remember him
no, there's not.
you don't remember him leaving at Las Cruces, but
Well,
do you
he
remember him-
had a ticket that would have taken him all the way through to Albuquerque, so he must have left in Las Cruces.
because he definitely did not arrive in Albuquerque.
That's what the police said. That's correct.
And is that your assumption as well?
I can't see any other answer.
Okay.
The only,
And-
I mean, the other possibility would be that he jumped off the train, but that doesn't make any sense. He didn't seem like the kind of a person who would do that.
But these two native men with the green eyes, they must have made quite an impression on you, I'd imagine.
Not really. I just remember it. It's not. We don't get a lot of people coming from Silver City to Albuquerque. There weren't very many people on the train that day.
But do you remember the men on the two native men with the green eyes? Do you remember them getting off at Las Cruces or coming all the way up to our current location?
I don't remember. I don't think I saw those gentlemen from Las Cruces to Albuquerque, so they must have gotten off as well.
Okay. Can I do a psychology roll to see if I think he's telling the truth?
Sure.
Just barely made it.
It seems like he's telling the truth.
Okay.
I nudged Julius and say, have you got that German book on you? This guy could maybe read it.
Sure. Are you familiar with this type of German?
He looks at it and he says, "Oh, this is an old Middle High German. It's difficult. A lot of the words changed meaning."
Yeah, I'm having trouble getting through the text myself. I was hoping that you may be more familiar than myself.
As he glances through it, the look of like concern comes over his face because it's like this is like an occult book.
I find it quite odd myself. If you're willing to do some translation work, I'd be willing to pay you for the night.
No, I'm far too busy for that. And he hands the book back to you.
I pull out a $50 bill. I go, "How busy are you?"
I'm not qualified. I don't think that I could do it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. You wouldn't happen to know any Germans who may be more qualified than yourself in the area?
No.
Or possibly in Silver City with Cruces?
I wouldn't know. He seems disturbed by that book that you handed him.
Well, I think it's worth giving him a tip and thanking him. I think that's really helpful advice, information rather.
All right.
Sure, I chuck him a 5 spot. That's like a lot of money, I'd imagine, right?
That's a lot of money, yeah.
It's a ton of money, right? So yeah, I chuck him a 5 spot.
Thank you,
Give
sir.
him $1 and give me 4.
Thank you, sir. And he
Good day.
goes back about his business. I'm sorry.
Well,
was there
we get back to wherever we're staying. Back home. I get back home. I'll let the professors know some of the information
okay.
we've just received.
All right. So you've conferred, and we can skip ahead to the morning. What time are you going to leave?
Early?
Yeah.
As early as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Say be ready to leave at, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning?
I am going to assume then that you've had food and you've got water and you've got all of those things. You've got provisions. You're well stocked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what did we say? 7 o'clock you leave? Before it gets too hot?
Sure.
Good idea there.
Okay. Go ahead and who's driving?
Well, I'm going to struggle with a book this time, so I'm definitely not going to drive.
I'll volunteer, but we'll go slow.
I'll switch out when he's had enough. Kind of take
Okay.
shifts at it.
All right. Jeff, do a luck roll.
Pass. 26.
Okay. For the most part, except for a couple of close calls with rocks in the road and animals occasionally,
Roadrunner.
armadillos, I don't know. It takes you about 5 hours, and you pull into a little town called Truth or Consequences. It's not much more than a pit stop. There's a diner there. You're hungry. But you still probably have a couple, maybe even 3 hours to go from here. You've been driving slow. The road's been pretty bad. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's about noon.
I'd like to stretch my legs and get a bite.
Yeah, and use the bathroom and all that sort of stuff. So you go ahead and you do that. And then did you want to switch drivers?
Yeah, I'll switch out.
All right. So Rob is going to drive from here to Silver City. You have a choice. The better road goes to Las Cruces and then goes to over to Silver City. Those are the better roads, but it is the longer drive. Or you can go through a little corner of the Gila National Forest, but it's hilly. It's like this most of the way, and it won't take you as long, but it'll be a less comfortable drive.
Gentlemen, which way you want to go? I'm good with going either way.
I would please stick to the road more travel.
Which would be through Las Cruces.
Take us out of our way, and we would potentially have to stay in Las Cruces or Mesilla there.
How much longer would that take, Tom, to go to Las Cruces?
Probably it would add an hour, or
Oh, it's not much.
maybe an hour and a half.
I say we take the better road and avoid any possible damage to the vehicle.
Okay.
We can check out this connection with the professor as well, the doctor there.
And we're likely to get gas in Las Cruces there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go that way. Go ahead and do once again a luck roll, Ford.
Okay. Nope. I missed.
Okay.
I put my seatbelt on.
Well, what happens is as you're driving, there is an area where there is a wash, and it's obvious that the wash has damaged the road in that area, and you decide to chance it, and you almost go off the road in the process. Julius, I would like you to do a Constitution roll.
Okay. Just straight con?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I failed.
Okay. Before you get to Las Cruces, you've been trying to read the German and translate some of it. It's proving very difficult. And because you're concentrating on it, and because the car is lurching around a little bit, you're getting more and more and more nauseous. And so you finally yell out, stop the car now. and you're just out in the middle of nowhere, but you have to jump out of the car and barf. You lose all of your lunch all over the place, and you realize that you're not. Just the thought of picking up that book again and trying to read it while you're driving is just not going to work.
That diner was a mistake. Oh.
Not used to eating green chili there, eh?
Anyways, after another couple of hours go by, you finally pull into Silver City. It's not a big city like Albuquerque, but it's got the usual things for a small town. It's hard to give you an idea. It's probably got 5,000 people, which is still a small town, not a huge city. It is a city, but it's a little city. And it's probably about what will we say 5 o'clock in the evening when you pull in, and it's been long and hot and difficult, and he vomited, and you're really glad that the drive is over.
Julius, should we head to your cousin's place?
Yeah, I need to wash up.
Okay.
Professors, are you happy with this?
His
Can't complain.
cousin is in Silver City though, or
Yeah. His residence is downtown Silver City.
His missing cousin.
Yeah.
so we're going to push through from here.
David.
Are we
Lane.
not in Silver City?
You're in Silver City.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant we were in Las Cruces.
No. You finally arrived, and there's nothing else for me to tell you. 159 Hyde Street in Silver City, New Mexico. That's David Lane's townhouse. There is a light on in the window.
I suggest to Lucius that he goes and checks in case it's like a servant or a family acquaintance or something like that.
Sure. I open the door and I say, whomever you are, come downstairs, damn it. Don't tell me.
So you just walk in?
Yeah.
Okay. You frighten the landlady. I mean the what you call her, the housekeeper. Okay. Little Hispanic woman, obviously also a live-in. Her name is Agapita Sanchez. Oh, you frightened me.
Terribly sorry. Is there a place I can wash up? My associates have some questions for you. I'm Julius Clayton, by the way. Lane.
Oh, your family. Okay. Yes, and she shows you where the bathroom is. And anything that you need.
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for this man while I go wash up? You're welcome to ask me anything. I just go off and kind of leave them all awkwardly standing there looking at the maid.
Okay.
Well, I explained to the maid that we're obviously looking for David Lane, and ask if she can help us to find him at all. Any information on when she last saw him, who his friends have been recently, if he's been meeting with anybody, etc.
Well, she says, Senor Lane, Mr. Lane, they believe that he may have been kidnapped. That is what they said to us, the police. They were here to look around.
Have you seen him meeting with anyone, or has he been doing anything out of the ordinary in the last few days before he disappeared?
No, just, sometimes he has a lady friend over.
Do you know her name?
No. It isn't always the same lady friend. I
Fair
think
enough.
he likes very much the ladies. And
Ask her who-
sometimes the neighbors come by.
Okay, so a lot of socializing.
Yes, he likes to socialize.
Does she know the police that she was speaking to, or the chief of police in town?
She says, I don't know his name. No. I think he's a sheriff.
Okay. I suggest to the professors that we have a look about, and I want to ask her if David has a study or an office and kind of private rooms, library, etc.
Okay. It's now 8 o'clock. Shall we break there or stop there until next week?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot before you start searching the house.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, that could take a long time.
Yeah, it probably will. All right. So, let's see. Our players included Ken Trench, Jeff Wilkins, Ford Fitch, Joshua Morrow, and Fred Carter, with yours truly as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. Patrons of our shows can now enjoy recordings of our pre- and post-game conversations when we first publish them. Some of the funniest and most interesting stuff occurs before and after the show. We have 2 new $5 patrons, Samuel Hodgkins and Ryan Bird. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Thanks, guys.
If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month will help us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.